අද්විතීය 200 Mbps ස්පීඩ් එකකින් ශ්‍රී ලංකාවේ වේගවත්ම සහ පුළුල්තම හෝම් බ්‍රෝඩ්බෑන්ඩ් සම්බන්ධතාවය වන SLT Mobitel දේශීය ෆයිබර් බලවේගය ඔබත් අදම අත්විඳින්න.
හරිම සුදුයි.
Tonight, on First at 9 this Friday, the 4th of August 2023. Do not disrupt. President Ranil Wickremesinghe urges all small political factions to ensure a smooth debt restructuring process.
මේ කරන වැඩ කටයුතු අපි නවත්තන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව කිව්වොත් විතරයි. මොකද මේ බලය තියෙන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ. ඒ බලය පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ තියෙනවා නම් වෙන කාගෙන්වත් අපිට උපදෙස් ගන්නත් බෑ, නියෝග ගන්නත් බෑ.
Reforms. Minister of Water Supply assures that a new pricing formula for water tariffs will be introduced before the end of this year. Essential goods. Litro and laughs gas to maintain the prices of their domestic LP gas products at the current prices for the month of August.
We have been able to absorb the price hike from efficient stock management, continuous focus on the LPG global market prices, and the benefit derived from the expected rupee appreciation.
Improving connectivity. Talemana appear to be reconstructed to facilitate vessels from South India, facilitating more people-to-people connectivity.
So this is one of the other gestures which we are trying to implement in order to assure the people of North that we are giving you development. So you should grab it, you should help it.
Relaxing restrictions. Government to allow the importation of 300 more goods that were restricted starting from next month.
Alliance Finance මෙතුරු රන්නයි සේවාවෙන් රන් පවුම්කට රුපියල් 1,70,000ක ඉහළ අධිකාරම.
ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දිනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
This is AdaDerana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to AdaDerana First at 9. I'm AdaDerana Singh joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. Now in your top story tonight, President Ranil Wickremesinghe urged all small political parties to refrain from disrupting the debt optimization process which could collapse the country's banking sector. Addressing the annual meeting of the Coconut Growers Association of Sri Lanka, the head of state stressed the government's financial accountability to Parliament, making it clear that they will only adhere to the instructions and orders of the Parliament in the program of debt optimization. President Wickremesinghe meanwhile asserted that he is committed to preventing the country from descending into anarchy by avoiding outdated political practices, while also stating that he remains devoted to developing Sri Lanka. The 29th annual meeting of the Coconut Growers Association was held in Colombo today under the patronage of President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
Policy makers lack information to revive the industry. Coconut being a perennial crop, consistency in policy for at least 5 years is an essential ingredient. We believe that there has been a period of neglect and that this could be mitigated with immediate intervention. Time is running out. The government needs to articulate its policies and its roadmap for the coconut plantation industries so that stakeholders in the industry could align themselves with the same policies and work towards creating a robust coconut plantation industry.
Please be assured, whatever the support that the plantation ministry could provide, and also by the other organizations under its umbrella, Coconut Cultivation Board, Coconut Research Institute, and the Coconut Development Authority, you would provide nothing but the best in relation to some of the concerns of yours. In 2023, our estimate is that we might get around $700 million income from the coconut sector, partly because of the fact that our export orders have come down, not only in coconut sector, but also in tea, apparel, cinnamon, and also other exports. It's partly owing to the negative sentiments in the markets of America and Europe. They go through a recession. We keep our fingers crossed. Hopefully they'll come back to normalcy by the third and fourth quarters of 2023 and things would become normal by 2024. And also on policy wise, we will initiate a new coconut triangle in the country covering northern province connecting Jaffna, Mana and Mullaitivu. So we try to promote coconut cultivation in that part of the country. We will plant in month of September nearly 2 million plants in that province. And also I must also highlight the fact that last year we produced 6 million seedlings in the country. That was the highest ever number that we produced in the recent past. Those seedlings are distributed throughout the country. With all that, we hope the production will come up, and also we would provide nothing but the best.
අපි මේ රට බංකොලොත් අද. කෙසේ හෝ අපිට වාසනාව ලැබිලා තියෙන මේ ආණ්ඩුවට දැන් මේ ප්‍රශ්න විසඳගෙන යන්න. ඉස්සෙල්ලා තියෙන්නේ අපේ ණය ප්‍රතිවගත කිරීම අවසන් කරන්න. ඒ පිළිබඳ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ රාජ්‍ය මුදල් කොමිටිය මේ ගැන සාකච්ඡා කරා. සියලු දෙනාම පක්ෂ ભેදයෙන් තොරව වැඩ කටයුතු කරා. අවාසනාවකට හැම එක්කෙනාගේ මේ සහයෝගය ලැබෙන්නේ නැහැ. කුඩා කණ්ඩායම්, පොඩි පක්ෂ සමහර බලන මේක තවත් නැති කරන්න. පාට බැහැලා විශාල සංවිධානයක් ඇති කරන්න උත්සාහ කරා. ඒ ජනතාව එක පිළිගත්තේ නැහැ. දැන් බලනවා උසාවි වලට ගිහින් තහනම් නියෝග අරගන්න. එයා බලන්නේ තමන්ගේ දේශපාලන අරමුණකට උසාවි යොදවා ගන්න. අද මේ කරන වැඩ කටයුතු නැවතුනොත් සතියක් අන්න ඉස්සලා අපේ බැංකු ටික කඩා වැටෙනවා. මේක අපි නවත්තන්න ගියොත් විදේශ රටවල් අපි එක ගන්න දෙනු කරන්නේ. මේ කරන වැඩ කටයුතු අපි නවත්තන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුව කිව්වොත් විතරයි. මොකද මේ බලය තියෙන්නේ පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ. ඒ බලය පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ තියෙනවා නම් වෙන කාගෙන්වත් අපිට උපදෙස් ගන්නත් බෑ, නියෝග ගන්නත් බෑ. ඒ නිසා මේ උවමනා නැති ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇති කරගන්න එපා කියලා මම මේ කුඩා පක්ෂවලට කියනවා. ඒ වගේම මේ පරණ දේශපාලනයෙන් රටක් දියුණු කරන්න බෑ. පරණ දේශපාලනයෙන් අපි නැති වුණා. ආපහු ඒ පරණ දේශපාලනය ගෙනල්ලා නැති කරන්න මම ඉඩ දෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Meanwhile, Secretary to the President Saman Ekanayake sent a notice to all party leaders requesting recommendations and comments on the implementation of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. According to the President's Media Division, this is a proactive approach which aims to foster national reconciliation and facilitate constructive dialogues on the implementation of the 13th Amendment.
President Secretary Saman Ekanayake has sent a notice to all political parties requesting their suggestions and comments on the implementation of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. The notice was sent as per the directives of President Ranil Wickremesinghe as part of the commitment made during an all-party conference which convened on the 26th of July at the Presidential Secretariat. During the all-party conference, which was attended to by political parties representing both the government and the opposition, President Wickremesinghe stressed the significance of discussing the 13th Amendment to the Constitution with all parties as it is a matter that affects the entire country. On the 18th of July, President Ranil Wickremesinghe said that the 13th Amendment will be implemented with full powers, with the notable exception of police powers, subject to the agreement among the political parties in Parliament.
Meanwhile, a new water tariff guideline and formula is to be introduced by the end of this year to enhance transparency and accountability in the water tariff structure. On Twitter, the Minister of Water Supply Jeevan Thondaman noted that along with this tariff hike, the government will be pursuing aggressive reforms in the national water supply and drainage via measures such as adopting a cost optimization strategy to give greater value for money to consumers.
Water tariffs were revised by the National Water Supply and Drainage Board with effect from the 1st of August. This tariff revision impacts 9 categories including water for tenement gardens, government schools, religious and sacred places and other sectors. However, the NWSDB has not increased the water tariffs of the Samurdhi beneficiaries and estate houses. In a Twitter message today, Subject Minister Jeevan Thondaman addressed some concerns pertaining to the tariff hike. While highlighting that this measure is an essential step to secure the financial independence of the Water Board, he stated that due to the rising costs including electricity tariffs, raw materials, currency depreciation and high interest rates, the cost of providing 1 unit equating to 1,000 litres of water has surged to 130 rupees. The minister added that it was no longer possible to provide clean and safe piped water to the Water Board's customers under the previous tariff. Minister Thondaman further noted that the NWSDB have structured the new tariffs to alleviate the impact on lower end users while ensuring fairness in the distribution of costs, adding that only consumers using more than 20 units of water a month or 20,000 litres would start paying the actual unit cost and more. The minister noted that along with this hike, the government will be pursuing aggressive reforms in the water sector and the Water Board, which includes introducing lean management practices, setting measurable key performance indicators for the organisation, and adopting a cost optimization strategy to give greater value for money to the consumers. The minister noted that along with this hike, the government will be pursuing aggressive reforms in the water sector and the Water Board, which includes introducing lean management practices, setting measurable key performance indicators for the organisation, and adopting a cost optimization strategy to give greater value for money to consumers. Thondaman added that a new tariff guideline and formula will be introduced by the end of this year, which will enhance transparency and accountability in the water tariff structure.
Now in other news, amidst a hike in global gas prices, state gas supplier Lanka Limited has decided not to revise prices for the month of August. According to the chairman of Litrogas Lanka Limited, Mudita Piris, the company strategically purchased over 8,000 tons of LP gas when the market prices were at its minimum, and hence the company is able to pass the benefit along to the consumers.
Under a new pricing formula formulated by the Ministry of Finance, gas prices are revised within the first week of each month. However, against a backdrop where global gas prices have increased considerably, state gas supplier Litrogas Lanka Limited has decided not to revise gas prices of their gas products for the month of August. Addressing the media today, Chairman of Litrogas Lanka Limited Mudita Piris explained the reasons behind the company's decision.
I'm pleased to announce that the Litrogas Lanka will not increase the price this month too. In the domestic segment, even though the global gas LPG price has increased by $85+. According to the newly introduced pricing formula, 470 rupees should be increased. During these hard times, Litro will not pass the burden to its consumers. We have been able to absorb the price hike from efficient stock management, continuous focus on the LPG global market prices, and the benefit derived from the expected rupee appreciation. විශේෂයෙන්ම අපි නිරීක්ෂණය කළා මේ අවුරුද්දේ අඩුම මිල ගණන් එන්නේ ගිය මාසේ ඩොලර් 380ක විතර පහළාගයකට බැස්සා. මිල අඩු වෙනම තැන නිරීක්ෂණය කරලා මම ටොන් 8000කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් ගිය මාසේ ඇනවුම් කළා. එතන මේ මාසේ අපි උපකල්පනය කළා වගේම ඩොලර් 85කට ඉහළ අගයකින් ගෑස් මිල වැඩි වුණා. නමුත් අපි මිලදී අරගෙන තියෙන්නේ. අපි ගෑස් ඇනවුම් කළේ ගිය මාසේ ප්‍රයිස් එකට ගිය මාසේ මිලට. ඒ නිසා අපිට මේ බර අද ආයතනයක් විදියට ඉතාමත් ලේසියෙන් දරාගෙන ලෝක වෙළඳපොලේ ගෑස් මිල කොච්චර වැඩි වුණත් ලිට්‍රෝ ගෑස් පාරිභෝගිකයන්ට අපිට දෙන්න පුළුවන් සහනය මේක තමයි.
News private gas supplier Laughs Gas PLC has also decided not to revise the prices of domestic liquefied petroleum gas cylinders. This was said by the Chief Executive Officer of the Laughs Gas Company PLC, Niroshan J. Piris, while addressing a media briefing today. Accordingly, the 12.5 kilogram domestic gas cylinder will be sold at 3,690 rupees and a 5 kilogram gas cylinder will be sold at 1,476 rupees during the month of August. Meanwhile, the government has decided to reconstruct the currently dilapidated Thalemana Pier. According to the Ministry of Ports and Shipping and Aviation, the estimated reconstruction cost of the pier is 1.8 billion rupees and will be fully funded by the Port of Colombo. During a visit to inspect the pier, Subject Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva said there will be more people-to-people connectivity with India by the arrival of Indian vessels and development in the northern region of Sri Lanka following the reconstruction activities of the pier.
In a bid to improve people-to-people connectivity with India, the Ministry of Ports, Shipping and Aviation has planned to reconstruct the Thalemana Pier to facilitate passenger vessels from Rameshwaram in India. The pier was destroyed and had been abandoned during the Civil War. According to the subject ministry, the cost of reconstruction is estimated at 1.8 billion rupees. In a statement, the ministry stated that parallel to the reconstruction of the pier, about 10 acres of government-owned land bordering the port will be acquired for port infrastructure development activities. The ministry highlighted that under these new developments, a modern passenger terminal and warehouse facility will be constructed. Further, the ministry has also made a decision to call for requests for proposals with the intention of carrying out these investments under private-public partnership. The Minister of Ports and Shipping also noted that India has completed developments at the Rameshwaram port and the Indian government has declared clearance to commence a passenger ferry service between Mana and Rameshwaram. Prior to the reconstruction, the pier was inspected today by Subject Minister Nimal Siripala de Silva.
In order to have better connectivity with people-to-people connectivity between India and Sri Lanka, our government has decided that the Thalemana Pier must be developed and ferry service must be resumed from any of the ports in South India to Thalemana Pier. But for that purpose, we need to repair this pier. This is a benefit which we are going to give from the money which we earn from the port of Colombo to the people of the north and east. Therefore, I am sure when this project is implemented, there will be a lot of benefit that the tourism and all other things, businesses will grow up in this province. So, therefore, it is the intention of the government of His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe to treat equally to north as well as the south. So, this is one of the other gestures which we are trying to implement in order to assure the people of north that we are giving you development. So, you should grab it, you should help it.
Now, meanwhile, India grants 450 million Indian rupees equivalent to 1.7 billion Sri Lankan rupees for the implementation of the Sri Lanka Unique Digital Identity Program. This was handed over to the State Minister of Technology by the Indian High Commissioner in Colombo, Gopal Bagle, during a meeting of the Indo-Sri Lanka Joint Project Monitoring Committee at the Presidential Secretariat today. The grant of 450 million Indian rupees is an advance payment which is 15% of the total funds required for the successful implementation of the project. The President's Media Division reported that the tenders related to the Sri Lanka Unique Digital Identity Project have been received and are currently under review, adhering to a meticulous timeline. Chief of Presidential Staff Sagar Ratnayaka emphasized the paramount importance of adhering to a well-defined timeline to ensure the project's seamless execution. Now, import restrictions on 300 more items to be relaxed next month. More news on the other side of this short commercial break. Stay with us.
ගොඩමඩ පෙරලි කරන බලපුළුවන්කාරයා මහින්ද්‍රා යුවෝ ටීමෝ වෙතින්. වැඩම ගොඩයි ගොඩම තමයි ස්වරාජ් ට්‍රැක්ටර් ටීමෝ වෙතින්.
Welcome back. Now, in other local news, a fatal accident in the Thamuttegama area around midnight yesterday claimed the lives of 5 people and left 3 others injured. According to the police, the carelessness of the van driver had been identified as the cause of the accident. Meanwhile, in Kandana, 2 unidentified men who arrived on a motorcycle had shot at a residence of a businessman in the area. With that, here are more updates around the island in brief.
5 people died while 4 others were left injured in a tragic crash after a lorry which was travelling from Kurunagal to Anuradhapura was rear-ended by a van in Eriyagama of the Thamuttegama area around midnight yesterday. A total of 8 people who were inside the van were rushed to the Thamuttegama base hospital following the accident. According to the police, the carelessness of the van driver had been uncovered as the cause of the accident, and the driver of the lorry is currently in police custody. Meanwhile, in Kandana, 2 unidentified gunmen have reportedly opened fire at a house using a T-56 firearm in Pio Mawata at around 6:30 this morning. The 2 gunmen who arrived on a motorcycle had fled the scene after firing around 8 shots at the residence. Investigations revealed that suspects who carried out the shooting had been ordered to do so by 2 men involved in organised crime, one of whom is reported to be currently hiding in Dubai. However, none of the residents who were in the house had sustained injuries. Meanwhile, in Narangala, a fire was reported in a forest reserve of which entry is prohibited for unauthorized personnel. However, despite the danger, a group of individuals were seen camping in the reserve.
Now, in your local business news, State Minister of Finance Ranjit Sembalapitia says a decision with regard to the relaxation of import restrictions pertaining to 300 items will be made following discussions with the Central Bank's Department of Economic Research. Speaking to the media, the State Minister went on to say that the import restrictions imposed on the said 300 items are likely to be relaxed by September this year.
අපි විවිධ වර්ගයේ ආනයනයන් පිටරටින් ලංකාවට ගෙන දේ 2000කට වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයක් නවත්තලා තිබුණා. විනිමය පාලනයක් ඇති කරගත්තා. හැබැයි දිගින් දිගටම මේ පාලනය කරන්න බෑ. සැප්තැම්බර් මාසෙ විතර අපි බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා දැනට නවත්තලා තියෙන ද්‍රව්‍ය වලිනුත් 300කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් සඳහා ආනයන නිදහස ලබා දෙන්න සැප්තැම්බර් මාසය වගේ වැඩපිළිවෙලක් කරන්න අපි මේ වෙන විට මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශය උන් සමග සාකච්ඡා ආරම්භ වෙලා තිනවා. අවසාන වශයෙන් මහා බැංකුවේ ආර්ථික පරීක්ෂණ අංශයත් සමග සාකච්ඡා කරලා විනිමය වැයවීම පිළිබඳ සහ දේශීය වෙළඳපොළ ආරක්ෂා වීම පිළිබඳ මේ ගැඹුරු සොයා බැලීමක් කළා තමයි අපි මේ තීන්දුව ගන්නේ.
Now, Sri Lankan shares closed on green today at a near 6-month high as the buying interest returned with more economic stability and assurances seen in the market. The main all-share price index was up 0.44% to close at 11,633.51. This is the highest since the 18th of February. The more liquid S&P Sri Lanka 20 closed at 0.63%, up at 3,411.06. The highest gainers were John Keel's Holdings, Aitken Spence and Dialog Asiata. The markets recorded a share volume of 147 million, down from yesterday's 186 million, with a recording total turnover of 4.3 billion rupees, down from 6.6 billion rupees. The capital goods sector remained the highest contributor to the market during the day, followed by the banking sector and the food and beverage sector. Domestic traders, meanwhile, were net sellers, while 101.03 billion rupees worth of shares, purchasing 100 billion rupees worth of shares, while foreign traders were net buyers purchasing 432 million rupees worth of shares during the trade. Now let's take a look at how the rupee traded against other major currencies during the day. And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of AdaDerana First at 9. Stay in touch with us on www.adaderana.lk for the latest developments around the clock. Thank you. Have a great night.
For news and information you can trust 24 hours a day, visit AdaDerana.lk.